Today is October the 26th. What is the day of the Lord? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let's find out together as we study the second half of Joel chapter 1. Yesterday, as we opened the book of Joel, we saw how people wept over an influx, a devastating locust swarm. Today, starting in verse 13, dress yourself in burlap and weep, you priests. There's more weeping. Wail, you who serve before the altar. Come and spend the night in burlap, you ministers of my God, for there's no grain or wine to offer at the temple of your God. Announce a time of fasting, call the people together for a solemn meeting. Bring the leaders and all the people of the land into the temple of the Lord your God. Cry out to him there. Then later, in verse 16, our food disappears before our very eyes. No joyful celebrations are held in the house of our God. The seeds die in the parched ground, the grain crops fail, the barns stand empty. Granaries are abandoned. The animals are hungry, and Joel ends with a plea for the people to cry out to God, "O Lord, help us." Now, it's in verse 15, in the middle of these two sections that talk about weeping, that Joel says the day of the Lord is near. The day when destruction comes from the Almighty, how terrible that day will be. The day of the Lord, the phrase occurs some 24 times in the Old Testament. Twice, it simply refers to the Sabbath day, the day of the Lord. Once, it refers to the day of the Lord as a battle. The other 21 times, the day of the Lord is a terrible day. It's not a good day. It's used to talk about cruelty, about God's anger, about destruction. It's called the great and terrible day of the Lord. In Obadiah, which is one of the minor prophets, it simply is one chapter. Obadiah verse 15 says, "The day is near when I, the Lord, will judge all godless nations." Now, Israel kind of fell back on that. Israel looked at that and said, "Oh, the day of the Lord is when God will judge the nations." So in the book of Amos, Amos chapter 5, verse 18, "What sorrow awaits you who say, 'Oh, if only the day of the Lord were here.' You have no idea what you're wishing for. That day will bring darkness and not light." Then later in verse 20, "Yes, the day of the Lord will be dark and hopeless, without a ray of joy or hope." You know, frequently we think about the day of the Lord, the end times, as a time when we'll be justified, things will be put right. The prophets tell us, be careful what you wish for. The day of the Lord, the day when God judges the world. He'll judge the nations, but he will also judge Israel. The day of the Lord will be a day of judgment. So today is a good day for us to take a look at our own life, evaluate what we are doing, and find out if there's anything in our life that we need to confess to the Lord. Like and share this devotional on whatever platform you used to listen to it. Tomorrow, we'll ask the question, does God punish us with national disasters.